Hey, how's it going, everyone? I just want to do a lesson on wealth inequality, and I'll just focus here in the US. But this analysis will obviously be consistent with, high net worth people worldwide. But I just took the top 15 wealthiest Americans. I got this information online, and it's accurate in 2019, so it's reflective of reality, and it's current. And so this is top 15 Americans. Net worth shows their age as well in column E, the corporation that they're associated with, column F. And, Jeff Bezos comes in at 114 billion. And his wife, ex-wife, I guess now, is number 15 at 36 billion. And so these are the top 15. And then I just took a total here in column H and did a couple scenarios. So the top 15 Americans' net worth is almost $922 billion. So that's 9 zeros, 10 to the 9. So that's obviously money that most of us could not even wrap our head around, know what to do with, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's the total. Again, these are 15 people, like literally 15 people that you could fit in a room and seat around a table. They have this amount of wealth. And then I also, right below it, I took the median net worth of an individual American. The reason I use median and not average is that it measures central tendency, which is a term used to describe, it's a statistical term. So the top three most common ones that we're familiar with are average, median, and mode. And so average is just straight adding all of them, all the sample points, and then dividing it by the number of samples. Median takes the middle and then looks directly in the middle of the sample, and then there has to be an equal number of samples on both sides. That's the median. And so it's designed to remove outliers, either really, really high and really, really low. So for this type of analysis, it's a good one to use. So we're not skewed by the incredibly poor, but mostly not to be skewed by the incredibly rich, like these 15 people. And there's a mode, which is a central tendency descriptive statistic for the one that appears the most commonly. So it's the one with the highest frequency, which is not relevant for this. So median represents the middle of the pack, literally directly in the middle of the pack, net worth of an individual American. And so the median net worth of a family was around 100,000. So I just divided it by 4, approximately 4 people in most families. So it's somewhere around here, and just this number makes sense if you were just to go and randomly query people. You just ask them. Obviously, we wouldn't do this, but if they were to tell you and you just do this in your city, wherever you are, you would get a number pretty close to this. Like all the things that if people liquidated and sold, and then, all that kind of stuff, they sold whatever equity they had in their house and all that kind of stuff, their net worth, the median of it would be 25,000. And, this would obviously include people who are really, really young too. They would just get a portion of their family's net worth. And so this number seems about right. And so this is an incredible thing, is that if we were to then compare these 15 people and their net worth of almost 922 billion to the median net worth of an individual American, we would need 36 million people, almost 37 million people to Americans to have the same wealth of 15 people. And just for those people out there, that's pretty close to the population of Canada, the whole country. And so all of Canada, the number of people in Canada, and I'm assuming their net worth is probably about the same too, represents the net worth of 15 Americans. And so this is the world that we live in. And so I did another quick division, and just another way to illustrate how skewed this is in favor of a few. Scenario number 2 is just me I just picked some arbitrary number like 1.5 million and then multiplied it by 75 years. Let's just say the average lifespan of a person. Obviously, a person probably won't be spending 1.5 million, when they're 5 years old, but just to kind of use round numbers. And then you can see a lot of these people are, up in age. So they're going to be passing this down to their younger generation. So let's just say roughly that 1.5 million times 75 years for a lifespan represents about $113 million that a rich person would need, quote, need or spend in their lifetime. And so this $922 billion, which is like I said, the sum of the net worths of the top 15 Americans, could not be and would not be depleted for about 8,000 lifetimes, 8,195. And so they have enough wealth stored up again amongst those 15 people that they could fuel a pretty, extravagant life for 8,195 lifetimes. And so, that's obviously very, very conservative, because obviously a person doesn't spend that much. And then if they invested even like 5 or 10 years of this money, it would, quote unquote, pay off the rest of their life. But again, just using very, very conservative figures, it would take an exorbitant number of lifetimes in order for that 922 billion to ever be depleted, which just shows that money, once it's now in their hands, it's like stuck there. It's like pent up. It's not going to be then recirculated for a long time, if even at all, because their wealth is increasing by the day, really by the second, with high frequency trading and all the manipulation in the stock market. So, this to me, again, it's just an exaggeration. The Bible prophesies rich and poor in the end times. And we don't have to look far to prove that. This is just an exaggeration. This is actually using fairly conservative numbers. And a person having a net worth of 25,000 is still conservative in the sense that people, and like myself, we're depleting our net worth every day. I'm not saying that to complain, but it's one thing if a person has that and it's increasing, but the 922 billion is increasing and the 25,000 is decreasing. If we were just think of like rate of change, what direction it's going in, in the next year or two. And so the numerator is getting bigger and the denominator, us, is getting lower at best, staying flat. And so, that's a big deal. So now from a spiritual perspective, we would have to think the God of the Bible caring more about these 15 people than 36,876,000 people. Like that's a stretch, Let's just quickly look at these 15 people and what they're up to. Amazon selling products and just delivering it very quickly. Really not adding really any value than any other store that existed prior. Your local stores. Microsoft, Bill Gates, we know he's this vax guy, just vaccinating everybody. He's obviously a Satanist. I'm sad to say that I'm using his very software for this short video, but I'm using Microsoft Excel, one of his products. Warren Buffett, just a bunch of random companies, basically an inside trader. Zuckerberg, Facebook, who knows like really what it's truly used for in the back end, but it's again just it's not needed, obviously for life in any real way to sustain human life, and it's pretty much just spying on us, and selling information and using information in that way. Oracle databases and all that, again, necessary for companies like Amazon and Microsoft to exist. Google, just a search engine, again, just benefiting from learning from what people search and then making a business out of that. Bloomberg, fake news, again, Microsoft. Walmart, again, similar to Amazon. Koch Industries is like energy, petrochemicals, and plastics and all that kind of stuff. One of possibly the most useful out of this list, but they're also, I would suspect, be involved in the military industrial complex. And then again, Amazon. And so really useless companies, like they're not like, food, shelter, homes and stuff like that, education, like actual like learning and stuff like that. These are all companies that don't need to exist, and definitely Bloomberg for sure is an obvious one. And so just if we look at the numerology too, and like their names, like Bill Gates, William Gates, B is 2 in numerology, G is 33 or 6. So we have 2 6, which is 6 6, or if you take William's a 3, So we have 36, which is 666. Warren Buffett, WB is 32. 3 times 2 is 6. Zuckerberg, Jewish, Synagogue of Satan. Larry Ellison, L is 3, E is 3. So we have 33. Bloomberg, again, 32, like Warren Buffett. M, if you twist it, is a 3. B is the second letter in the alphabet. 3 times 2 is 6. Waltons, if you look at the term, the word Walmart, and you flip it, it's martial law. Charles Koch, CK, K is 11, C is 3, so 3 times 11 is 33. And Mackenzie Bezos, again, is 32. M and B is 32. 3 times 2 is 6. So these are the people at the top. So we have to believe, and again, for people who take this position, good luck to you. But it's ridiculous to believe that this is all just a big coinkydink. But these top 15 people, we would have to believe that whatever God is out there and has given them this just incredible amount of wealth, cares about them more than 36,876,000 people. And, that's what a person would have to believe if they don't think that we're in the end times or quickly approaching it. And these 15 people are Satanists. They're not providing any service. It's one thing if they truly earn this, and like rolled up their sleeves and were providing a real service to people and all that kind of stuff. And then they just went way, way above and beyond what was, what the average, quote, average person is doing and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is that they haven't. Of course, no one person can produce this amount of wealth just strictly by their own ingenuity and hard work. That's just crazy, to think that. Again, look at the companies and how many people they employ. It's those individuals that are helping, and creating this kind of wealth. And again, like I said, the thing that is most telling that we're in the end times is these companies are not adding any value at all. And that's not even an exaggeration. Anybody would agree with that. The world would not collapse if Microsoft didn't exist, or Amazon. We were perfectly fine before Amazon. We just had to get in our car, or go to the local store, or not even get in our car, just walk to the local store to get things. And then, okay, we maybe, had to wait if certain things needed to be ordered first and stuff like that. But we weren't struggling, definitely. And Berkshire Hathaway is just, again, a conglomerate of like a lot of companies. Facebook, again, we were fine without it. And it's not wrong to have Facebook, but it's not something that's worth $69.6 billion for one individual, who, again, did not code it all by himself. Of course, he has lots of people, and he potentially even stole the idea from other people. And it already existed in a different form before, through MySpace and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't anything, quote, new and that ingenious. It's funny that it actually was marketed early as a, quote, more secure version of those other sites. But then now we realize that it's actually more sinister because it's actually using the information and what we all put on there against us, and selling that information for advertisers and stuff like that. Google, again, it's just it's a nice to have. It's not helping anybody in any concrete way day to day. We've just gotten used to it, so we think that it's important. Bloomberg, fake news. And Bezos now as well owns, I believe, the Washington Post, so he's involved in fake news as well. Walmart, again, has completely destroyed local economies, and Amazon was just the cherry on top, but Walmart was really the company that began that. Coke Industries, just by the name, it's kind of like a play on words. God does this. Who knows what they're involved in? And again, Amazon with Mackenzie. So, these are the 15 people. So if anybody out there thinks that any God, but in particular the God of the Bible, cares about these 15 people more than 36,876,000 people whose net worth is around 25,000 and decreasing every day because of the system in place that's filling these few people's pockets every day. That's insane. To believe that this is just 15 people who just, quote, struck it rich. And this is a conservative estimate because I didn't even pick the top 15 wealthiest in the world. These are just Americans. And so it would be skewed even more, in other countries that don't even have people who have $25,000 of net worth. Because again, America's quote unquote richest nation. So there are other places where we could find people, maybe not with 922 billion, but a lot. And then, so that number would decrease, but then also the denominator would decrease as well significantly in other quote developing countries. And so this is just proof really that these ratios hold worldwide, which again shows that America is essentially a third world country, which is the best definition to use is just wealth inequality. It's not, the way things look, the way things appear visually, and, the average, because the average is skewed by the very, very wealthy. And so the ratio of the top net worth of X number of people in whatever country versus the median net worth of an individual in that place would be similar to this. This 1 to, or in this case, 15 to 36 million. Like that's a pretty extreme statistic. And we know from the Bible again that God's heart is with the poor, and so not only are the poor crushed, and they've been crushed for a while, the middle class and even to some extent the upper class are being crushed as well by these 15 individuals. So hope everyone's doing well. Bye.